Hello, Keith Rucker here at VintageMachinery.org. Guys, today back working on the Monarch 612 lathe, and we have made a lot of progress on this in the last week or two. Working on it, week or two my time, probably a little bit longer than that on videos, but been knocking things out, and it is starting to look like a lathe again. Still got a few little things that we need to get knocked out on this, and I think in today's episode it's going to be a bunch of just little things that need to be done. Nothing really big, any one of them in itself, but all of them combined are just little steps along the way to get this lathe back in operation. Let's get in here and get at it. So first thing I want to take care of is the belts on this. So I say belts. When I got this lathe, there was only one belt on here, and it was really, really loose. It needs to be tightened up and adjusted. There is an adjustment on this. I know when I was trying it out, practicing with, or just testing it the other day, we heard some squeaking and stuff. It was mostly this belt slipping down here because it just wasn't properly put together. So I'm going to swap these belts out. I'm going to first start by getting the old belt off. There's one belt on here. This lathe is designed to run with three belts, or at least there's three slots in the bottom. There's actually four in the top, but I know that this motor has been changed out at some point in the past. It's originally had a 20 horsepower motor on it. Previous owner had swapped out, put a 10 horsepower motor in here. Which is plenty for this lathe. But anyway, we need to get the belts properly on here. This is a B97, and I just went ahead and ordered 3 brand new belts. I don't think there's anything wrong with this one, but we'll just put 3 new ones on here and be safe. So let me grab those and we'll get them installed. All right, here's our first brand new belt. I'll drop it down in here. And see, it goes in that third one back there. I'm gonna probably have to put it in, do these one at a time. All right, let's get that over in the second slot. Okay, I'm gonna move this bottom one over to the third. Okay, get this one over into the third groove. Gotta really watch your fingers in here. You'll eat them. All right. This is belt number 2. That over into the second groove. Okay. And belt number 3. And we'll just get this one into the first groove. All right. Now, need to tighten that up. There's an adjustment down here in the bottom. It's up in the case. Can't really get in there to see it, but there's just a screw basically, and we'll tighten it up. It's going to take me a little bit of time sitting in there crawling around on my belly with a wrench, but we'll get it done. And we got a door that goes over this panel down here. Need to get it put back on. Cover this up. That screw started. We'll have to get the paint out and touch it up. It's been bouncing around over there in that chip pan for a while, and it's gotten a little beat up in there, but we'll fix that easy enough. All right, got that door on there. It's a little racked. I may have to see if I can bend it back around. And there's also a little cam lock that goes on this front piece. And it's around the shop somewhere. I've seen it. I just got to remember where it's at. And we'll get that put back on there where that'll stay shut. Let's get the top cover on. All right, this has two little pins down here. And then there's a socket cap screw that goes in up there at the top. Let me get the right one for that. All right, looking better. All right, that looks a lot better. Haven't got those openings exposed anymore. Like I said, I need to get that little cam lock fixed down there. I'll find that. It's around here somewhere. And but that looks good. I'm like the kind of Art Deco look this thing's got going on. Also got a panel that goes over this piece back here. See, there's a couple of long screws that go up into that. All right, I got at least one in here. The bottom one is a longer screw, and I don't have one on hand, but I can order one, and we'll get that one put in, but that'll hold it for now. All right, we got another little access door down here. Need to get it put back on. And I think that'll wrap that one up. This one is also missing the little cam lock that goes in the door. We'll have to make something to go there, I guess. Next thing we're going to put on here is a pretty cool little addition that was put on this machine by the previous owner. He had put a little jib crane, mounted it on here to help with moving chucks around and so forth. And we're going to reinstall this thing now. I've taken it and cleaned it up. Basically, he did this where he just screwed into the bolts right here on the machine itself, got it kind of around the spindle, and up on top there's a little jib that we'll put on here in a little bit. But this is going to make changing chucks and stuff much easier. So let me get this bolted back on here like it goes. All right. So this top piece just kind of fits over this piece of pipe and rotates on it. There's no bearings or anything like that. It's not quite that fancy, but I do want to put a little grease in here just to kind of help this thing rotate around. You know, this jib crane is not designed to hold tons. It's just designed to hold up a big chuck, which these chucks can weigh several hundred pounds. But this will help. All right, I think that'll work. And this is the jib that fits up on top. And that's a tighter fit than I remembered. All right, here we go. I'll come over here and allow me to swing a chuck on and off. All right, a long time ago, I had a viewer send me this little chain hoist. Come along. Let's see. To go in here to pick chucks up with. I'll have to get it hooked up and going. There it goes. So that'll help. I think long term what I would like to do is see if I can find a little electric hoist to go there that I can just move it up and down with. I think it'll be easier than using that. I'm gonna have to get that's kind of high to be running from the floor. But anyway, we'll see. Right now, it'll work. I'll throw that over the top and we'll just swing it out of the way for the time being. So actually one of my kind of long-term ideas for the shop here, and something that I may be looking at sooner than later now, is I've been wanting to put a jib crane kind of right in here, maybe tie into this beam here in the overhead that will swing out over both of these lathes. I got my 16-inch Monarch and this big 28-inch Monarch kind of back to back, and the idea would be to have a boom that would swing that I could lift chucks and work over both machines simultaneously. A little bit more substantial than this. This is going to work for the time being, but that is something I need to keep my eye out for, either just build something to go in here. Like I said, long-term goal, but yeah, it's getting time for it now that we're getting this big lathe in operation. But this little jib here will definitely be handy. I can come in here behind it, pick my chucks up off the floor, raise them up, put them on the spindle, and swing them back out of the way. And I've got this kind of area in behind me here, or where I'm at right now behind the lathe, where I can store those chucks at, and they're kind of out of the way, and I have access to the back sides of my machines at the same time. Probably need to make me a little cart that will fit in here that those chucks can sit on. Again, another project I need to work on, but nice little feature. And again, the guy who built this, or who I purchased this from his estate, he had passed away unfortunately, but he had built this little jib crane, and I think it's going to work pretty good. I'm going to take this bolt out. I've got my socket cap screw has come in to hold this in. So we should be able to, dadgummit. It's going to require modification. My, this piece here is so it looks like the socket cap screw is larger diameter than the pocket to go up in here. So a couple of options. I can either counterbore that out to the right size. Problem is I don't have a 5/8 inch socket cap screw counterbore, so I'd have to buy one, wait for it to get here. Or I can just put this in the lathe and turn that outside diameter down where it'll fit up in there, and I think that's what I'm going to opt to do here, just because it'll be quick and easy. All right, let's try this now. Just turn that outside edge off of that a little bit. And yeah, it's going to go right up on there now. All right, much better. Much, much better. I also ordered a little crank handle here that's got a 7/8 inch square on it that will hook into this, and that is perfect. I like it. I'm going to paint that handle black to match everything else, but That'll be great. I also ordered a new handle to go on here. This is a press in. This should just press right in that hole. This has got a revolving handle on it. So I'm going to pull this off, take this over to the arbor press, and just press that in real quick. So I'm over here at the arbor press, and we'll just take this piece. It just presses down into that hole. Should be the same size as the one that came out of there. And we'll just press it in place. All right. That handle revolves. All right, we're ready to put that back on. Let's put our handle back on now. All right. Much nicer. Like it, like it, like it. Next, I want to put a little handle on here, and I got another one of these push-on type handles, but when I put it in here, or test fitted, it was just a little bit loose. So I've used an old trick here where I went in with just a center punch and just peened that thing all the way around. And what that did is makes a bunch of little burrs that kind of makes that diameter a little bit larger, and I think we can drive that in. And I'm gonna reinforce it with some red Loctite here to hopefully put it in place real good. So we need to open this one up. And we will take a hammer and just press that in place. And I think that's going to work just fine. All right. Last step here on the handles is I need to put a handle on this hand wheel. Now this one was originally had a hole right here. It was broken. I welded this up previously, TIG welded it up and kind of ground it down to make it look good. There was another hole about right here that was threaded, but I don't have a threaded type. I have a press-on type that's going in here. So I welded that hole up and ground it down where it looks decent. And what I need to do now is I need to establish a new hole, and I'm gonna put it in like the original on the spoke where I just have a little bit more metal around it for a 3/8 inch press fit. So we're gonna take this off, go to the drill press, drill and ream a hole that's a little bit undersized, and then we'll press that in there. I'm gonna start with just a 1/4 inch drill bit, kind of get a hole started through there, and then we'll enlarge it up to the size that we need. All right, pilot hole. Next, we're going to a 23/64 drill bit. This is one size under 3/8. We want our hole to be a little bit undersized. We're going to ream it to the final size, but this will get us to the closest fractional size to 3/8. All right. And then this is a reamer. 3/8 is 0.375. This is 0.374. So it's 1/1000th under 3/8. So that should give us a little bit of a press fit for that handle to go into. The hole's going to be 1/1000th of an inch smaller than the size of the shaft. So that should give us a nice little press fit. So we'll just take this and run it down that hole and take it to that size. All right. That should be ready to press in. Back over here at the arbor press again, and again, here's my handle. I'm going to put a little red Loctite on this one too. Even though it's press fit, it won't hurt. Have a little Loctite in there. Now we'll take our hand wheel and we will press this handle in. Right there. Like it. Now we'll put this hand wheel back on. There's a key in there. And let's see, originally had this little button piece, kind of like my other ones do, that had a stud in it. This one was missing. This one here came off of the extra tailstock, but someone had drilled out the center and put a regular socket cap screw through there, but that's all right. I've got a little button head screw that we can put in here and still kind of get that on the outside. I say I do. I'm gonna have to get a longer button head screw. We'll just put the button head in there right now, and I get a longer one. They'll fully cover that and pull that in there. I think it'll look a little bit nicer anyway. I don't know, probably doesn't matter. Regardless, that's got us the hand wheel on the carriage now. So up next, I've got this big monstrosity here that's going to have to go back on here. And what this is when this lathe was new, it had a tracing attachment on it. And this is the hydraulic tracer that basically would move the compound in and out for tracing a pattern. If you're not familiar with tracing attachment, it's kind of a pre-CNC type deal that they used to have on some lathes, where you basically had a pattern that you would mount to the machine, and then there would be a stylus that would go along that pattern, and basically it would move this in and out to follow that pattern. So if you had an irregular shape you were wanting to machine out, it would trace that pattern that you had behind it. So again, kind of a before CNC came along, this was the way that a lot of these lathes did complex parts like that. So I'm not going to be using this, but the compound mounts on top of it, so it kind of has to be here. Actually, long term, I'm going to build a riser block and take this out, but for right now, we just need to get it back on here where we can use it. So we're just going to make do with what we got. So let me very carefully drop this down just a little bit. I got to get these holes lined up. There's 5 bolts that kind of hold this in place. And we got to get them all lined up. I think we got all of our bolts kind of started here. Just needs to drop down, straight down on there. And it's not wanting to drop straight down. But there's a center post in there too that's got to get lined up. I think we're getting there. This strap out of here. All right, I need to get some nuts and start tightening it down. There is a center post that this has got to pull down on. It's pretty tight fit in there. And I got to get my nuts up underneath here before I drop it any farther, or we won't be able to get those back ones in. So let me see if I can find the nuts that go to this. All right, we got it kind of started here. There are 5 bolts that are in here, and I need to get these kind of in there and started because they're just barely going to fit in there. Once I get those on, I think I can tighten this down. And there's a center stud in here that this all sits on and is aligned on. It's a pretty tight fit, so it's just going to have to snug it down. Let me find the right nuts and hopefully, and we'll get that tightened down. All right, I found these nuts, and I think these are the right ones. Although there's only 4 of them, there should be 5, but they are threaded on there. It looks like a 9/16 fine thread, kind of an unusual size thread. All right, let me, I'm taking the time here to get in here and clean this gunk out that's in these grooves. And let's see if we can get these all on here, or the 4 of them that I have. Probably need to just order 5 new ones. These are kind of beat up over the years, so I'll add that to the list and we'll get some new ones ordered as well. See if I can get some of these in the back. These have kind of got to get up underneath the ledge and then start threading on there. As that stud comes up in there, they become captured. So I need to go ahead and get those in there. All right, that one's on. Let me get the one on the other side. All right, now it's just a matter of snugging these things down. Probably gonna have to tighten a few of them and then go around and tighten them some more and work my way around. Go ahead and put this one right here. Like I said, I'll have to get another one to go on that back one back there. I think I'm going to try to push this back around, more or less just straight across the back there. Really, again, I want to get rid of all this on the back side and just have a little riser block here. Eventually, I'll probably just cast one. I have heard of some people that will just take and saw this off and either weld it or bolt it together where it can't slide on the dovetails anymore, and just use this. But I kind of like the idea of just making a whole new block in here. Besides, I may want to try to find a different compound to go on this lathe as well. And if I do, I may need a different adapter here. But if I can find a different compound, I can make my adapter plate whatever size it needs to be to fit it. All right, I think we got that snug down. Make sure these are tight over here. And they need to be tightened up just a touch. See, that one don't have, that one we do. All right. Got that on there. Now we can put our compound on. Well, guys, I think I'm at a stopping point again where we're going to take a break in this video and come back on something else because it's going to be a little bit detailed and warrants a video on its own. So we're not going to try to stretch this one out any farther. Real happy with how things are coming along here. This machine is coming back together really nicely. Really excited about it. I did pull the chip pan out. I had to get the gantry or the engine hoist up underneath it to put this on. So I pulled that out. While I got it out, I'm going to leave it out. I need to do a little bit of body work on it and get it painted before I put it back in. So while it's out, we're just going to leave it out for right now. Up next is the compound that goes on here. And I've actually got two. I got the one that came on this lathe, plus I picked up a second one off of another lathe that was being scrapped because the one that I had a few issues. And I think what I'm going to do, guys, is kind of take the two of them, take the best parts off of both, and make the best one that I can out of the two. So basically, kind of like what I did with the tailstock, we're going to take two of them and make a good one. And that, of course, will mount up here. I did go look at those compounds, and they actually, I was thinking they were smaller than what they are. I think they're fine. Again, my long-term goal here is we're going to do away with this whole tracing attachment piece. We're just going to put a riser block in here that will get the compound up to the proper height. And that way we won't have all this extra bulk on here. It'll just make things a lot simpler. And that'll be a project for down the road as well. But for today, that is going to be a wrap, guys. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Those thumbs up and comments are always greatly appreciated. Hit that bell icon up there to get notifications when new videos are posted. Please do comment below. It really helps out with the algorithms, and as well as hitting that like button really helps out as well. Big, huge thank you to guys that support the site through subscribing to it, as well as those who support financially through Patreon, PayPal, etc. That's what really enables me to take the time to shoot these videos and do all the work that goes along with doing that. Really helps out a lot, and I really do appreciate you guys that do that. If you can, consider it. If not, no big deal. But with that, we're going to sign off. We'll catch you on the next video. Again, thanks for watching.